I feel like I should start with a disclaimer. This video is not about Prop 22 or any similar legislation. While DoorDash is getting political, this video will not focus on politics, but rather flat-out hypocrisy. I keep my political opinions out of my videos, and I respectfully ask that you guys keep them out of the comment section. The email you're about to hear was sent specifically to drivers in Washington state. However, the location is irrelevant, as this video is going to focus on the intent. Having said that, I cannot get my points across without reading you DoorDash's email. Their words will be the only political opinions you hear in this video, and it will be brief. What's going on, everybody? My name is Zach. I hope you are doing well. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, please do consider pressing the like and subscribe button so you never miss news, tips, tricks, and ride-alongs with a healthy dose of humor. On July 26th, I received an email from DoorDash that read the following. Tell Seattle politicians to protect your earnings. Hi, Zach. Seattle is considering legislation that could negatively impact your ability to earn money on platforms like DoorDash. Your council members need to hear from Dashers just like you today. Right now, the Seattle City Council is considering a proposal that could lead to higher prices for customers, reduced demand for restaurants, and fewer opportunities for Dashers to earn. With inflation skyrocketing, this is not the time to enact policies that could increase costs on consumers and hurt small businesses. If passed, the city's proposed price control on app-based food delivery fees could raise the cost of deliveries for customers and result in fewer orders for restaurants and fewer deliveries for Dashers. We estimate that this legislation would cut Seattle Dashers' earnings by over $8.5 million per year. Instead of supporting small businesses, this legislation could also threaten the number of orders businesses receive and interfere with DoorDash's ability to provide the level of service that restaurants have relied upon. The City Council will vote on this proposal soon and needs to hear from you. Take action now to send a letter to Seattle City Council and share why they shouldn't enact any policy that would increase prices on customers and limit your earnings. Okay, I'm glad that is out of the way. I would like to point out that I do not drive in Seattle, nor have I ever driven in the Seattle market. In fact, Seattle is almost 2 hours south of my market. Hell, I'm closer to Canada than I am to Seattle, so why am I getting this email? Why? I'll share my theory in just a moment, but let me hear yours in the comment section below. DoorDash is obviously trying to use their drivers as lobbyists, which in my opinion is pretty f***ed up. Are they trying to overwhelm Seattle City Council with emails and phone calls from drivers all over the state? Drivers who wouldn't even be affected by this. Okay, DoorDash needs to do some shutting the fuck up. Let me explain why. I would like to point out that at no point in this email did they actually explain what this legislation is. They simply used vague language and scare tactics to try to convince us that this legislation could result in us making less money. And as for that $8.5 million that they mentioned in that email, well, let's just talk about that for a minute. I've seen how DoorDash does math. They do what I call theoretical math. They also do sneaky math. Do you remember the gas subsidy that we no longer get? They pitched that and made it sound like most of us would be saving up to $1 a gallon on gas, which in reality, the overwhelming majority of us came nowhere near to saving that much money. Furthermore, when they pitched the high pay order program, they promised $2 a mile during delivery. Without going too far down the rabbit hole on this one, they technically did follow through on that one. However, they did use clever wording to make us believe that we were getting something that we weren't. So basically, when DoorDash starts throwing out numbers, they should be considered as nothing more than theoretical. Now, some of you may assume that I support this legislation based on the tone of my voice and the angry video. However, besides just doing my research for this video, I still have a lot of unanswered questions and therefore cannot formulate an opinion of my own yet. But again, this video is not about the legislation, but rather the intent from DoorDash. I'd like to kind of jump back a little bit to a few parts of this email and give my thoughts on what DoorDash is actually saying. Let's jump back to the part where they say, tell Seattle politicians to protect our earnings. What they actually meant was, tell City Council to protect DoorDash's ability to charge exorbitant fees to whoever they want. Tell City Council to protect our earnings. Gladly. But my idea of protecting our earnings would be very different from DoorDash's idea. I just can't take them seriously when they try to come across as concerned for our earnings. Let's jump back in time and discuss a few things that DoorDash would really like us to forget. In July of 2019, DoorDash got sued for stealing drivers' tips. A customer filed a class action lawsuit for them stealing our tips that they now claim to care so much about. In July of 2021, DoorDash caught a lot of bad press when drivers went on strike demanding tip transparency. Not only do we still not have tip transparency, but DoorDash has been working overtime to break para. Is it just me or do they do a bunch of fucked up shit in July? DoorDash has sent multiple cease and desist letters to Para. Why? Because they hate transparency and they really want the drivers in the dark. We have a right to know exactly how much that order is going to pay. Not to mention, it really does screw the customers over also. I have no problem driving the fuck up here for the right price. The issue is, DoorDash hides tips exceeding a certain amount, so they present orders to that city with a dollar amount that just doesn't make sense for drivers to take them. As a result, that order sits, and sits, and sits. That customer could have tipped $20, but we would never know that. My friend, Gig Lebowski, delivered an order that was an hour late to a customer once. This customer was pissed the fuck off that the order took an hour to show up. Gig had to explain to this customer that that order had been declined so many times because DoorDash hid the tip, and the only reason he knew to take it was because he was using Para. The closest that we've ever come to seeing transparency on DoorDash is this. Now, that's not transparency. That is just fucking obnoxious. That's about as detailed as a restaurant telling you that your order will be ready soon. Last summer, DoorDash sent out this email where they promised us increased base pay for longer mileage orders. However, this did come with a decrease in base pay for orders that they deemed as low mileage. Pause the video, read the email, and then have a look at these screenshots. That is supposed to be the base pay for low mileage orders, not the fuck out in the sticks orders. It's also worth mentioning that DoorDash charges an increased fee for restaurants to have the ability to have their orders delivered the fuck out in the sticks. So to wrap that part up, the restaurants are paying an increased commission for the ability to have their orders delivered way too far away. DoorDash is paying less for lower mileage orders. Then these fuckweasels conveniently forget to pay us for the increased mileage. But that was probably an honest mistake since they value our money so much. I want to jump back to another point that was made in this email. DoorDash said that capping their fees could result in increased prices for customers. How? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the purpose of capping fees is to ensure that the customer and the restaurants are not being extorted. Now, I'm sure that I've made my point loud and clear, but I'm not done yet. When we accept a double on DoorDash, we're paid $1 less than we otherwise would have been had we done those orders separately. Since DoorDash is saving money by doubling orders, they're passing that savings on to the customers, right? Fuck no. The customer isn't given the option to bundle and save, and that money just happens to miss our pockets altogether also. DoorDash keeps it. But for what though? The privilege to deliver 2 of their orders at once? Look, when any gig app starts talking about driver pay, I get a little nervous. But when it's DoorDash, I know some janky fuckery is right around the corner. Okay, having said that, if DoorDash truly cared about the money that we make, or for a lot of us don't make, they have a very funny way of showing it. I'm not going to sit here and interject my opinions on Prop 22 or any similar legislation, but DoorDash could take a few steps to ensure that lawmakers don't feel the need to step in. Here are a few things that I would like to see. Either a $5 base pay, or a base pay that included mileage. I'm sick of getting offers like this. It's insulting. Accepting orders like that would guarantee a financial loss to the driver who accepted it. If they are not going to raise the base pay, then they need to limit the distance the customers can order from and guarantee that we will make at least $1 per mile 100% of the time. We need tip transparency. In no other line of work do people have to guess what they're actually going to be paid. Even servers at restaurants make something per hour. Meanwhile, DoorDash is collecting exorbitant fees from both the restaurants and the customers. They're doing what they feel that they legally can to punish drivers when we don't want to drive 15 miles for $2.50. Look, I understand that customers don't always know just how far away they're ordering from, but DoorDash does. And while gas is going down slightly, it's still very expensive. In my opinion, it's a slap in the face to drivers that DoorDash allows customers to order that far away and not require them to tip. So yeah, to wrap things up, basically DoorDash just needs to shut the fuck up, stay the fuck out of politics, and prove to drivers that they actually care about drivers and our earnings before they expect us to go to bat for them. Maybe then I can read an email like this without a huge amount of cynicism. DoorDash does not give a fuck about me, you, or how much money any of us make. This is nothing more than an attempt to ensure they can continue to line their own pockets, not ours. Guys, look, DoorDash is asking us to contact our lawmakers in an attempt to save DoorDash money. I would encourage you to contact your lawmakers, but don't lobby for DoorDash, lobby for drivers. Tell your lawmakers that we need transparency, and tell them why. Guys, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out one of my videos. This was a particularly difficult video to make. It turns out it's not very easy to take something that was meant to be political and take it in an entirely different direction. I hope I did a good job keeping my political opinions out of this. And again, I respectfully ask that you guys keep any politics out of the comment section. If you haven't done so yet, please do press the like and subscribe button. My name is Zach. I'll catch you soon.